You know, sometimes I just have to roll my eyes. We get so caught up in the shiny, impossible dreams of the NBA offseason, don't we? Every big name might be available, and every team might have a shot. And naturally, the Golden State Warriors, with Stephen Curry still doing Stephen Curry things, are always linked to the biggest stars. But can we just get real for a second? Is the dream of adding a Giannis Antetokounmpo just financially ridiculous? Spoiler alert, yes, probably. Look, the idea is intoxicating, I get it. The Golden State Warriors trying to squeeze every last drop of championship contention out of Steph Curry era, somehow landing the Greek freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo, if he would ever demand a trade from Milwaukee. Giannis and Steph on the same team? Forget the league. That might break the internet. A dominant force on both ends of court, still in his absolute prime at 30, putting up MVP caliber numbers even on a less than stellar Bucks squad last season. It's the ultimate what-if scenario for Warriors fans. But here's where the cold, hard dose of reality comes in, courtesy of someone who lives and breathes the NBA's complex financial landscape, ESPN's own Bobby Marks. And Marks, bless his heart, just laid it all out there on Get Up. He didn't sugarcoat it. According to Marks, completing a trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo is not just difficult for the Warriors. It is, in his expert opinion, impossible under the current circumstances, both financially and from a pure value standpoint, without doing something truly drastic. Mark's assessment? To make the money and the assets work, the Warriors would have to include either Jimmy Butler or Draymond Green in the trade package. And that, folks, is the insurmountable problem. As Mark stated, there's not a scenario where you can fit Giannis and also keep the other three players there. Let's break down why trading either Butler or Green is such a non-starter, making the Giannis dream essentially dead on arrival. First, Jimmy Butler. The Warriors just went through a whole saga to acquire him and immediately locked him up with a 2-year, $110 million extension. That was a move designed to make him happy, make him a cornerstone and signal commitment, turning around and trading him almost immediately after that massive investment, especially considering his history of having leverage and influencing his destination. Remember the rumors he didn't want to go to Milwaukee in the first place? Would be incredibly difficult, if not downright impossible, from a relationship and asset management perspective. You just paid a premium to get him and keep him. Trading him now feels like admitting a massive mistake or creating an unnecessary headache. Then there's Draymond Green. Where do you even begin? Draymond is the heart and soul of the Warriors dynasty. He's a defensive engine, the vocal leader, the guy who embodies the team's identity. He's on the books for another couple of years with a player option, earning significant money. Yes, but his value to this organization transcends the contract. Trading Draymond, after everything he's done, would be an emotional earthquake for franchise and the fan base. It's almost unthinkable for many who follow the team closely. Bobby Marks' point is simple but powerful. The numbers don't lie. You cannot fit Giannis's contract alongside the massive deals for Curry, Green, and Butler. The luxury tax implications and the sheer salary cap gymnastics required are simply too much without shedding one of those other high-salary, high-value players. So, while the idea of a Giannis-Curry tandem is fun to imagine, the reality of the collective bargaining agreement and the Warriors' current roster structure makes a fantasy that, according to a top insider, just isn't going to happen. All right, so if the impossible superstar trade is off the table, and it sounds like it is, what can the Warriors realistically do to improve and extend their championship window? Well, the focus seems to be shifting from pipe dreams to practical needs. And one of their most pressing needs, especially as they potentially move away from a pure small ball identity, is an athletic big man. The struggles last season with slower defensive switches and inconsistent outside shooting might be prompting a strategic pivot. They need size. They need athleticism in the front court. We've heard names linked to them, veterans like Brook Lopez, other trade targets like Kristaps Porzingis, indicating a clear intent to address this area. The team has young bigs in Tracy Jackson-Davis and Quinton Post, and while promising, reports suggest Jackson-Davis might be the more likely candidate to be included in a trade package to acquire a more established center. This brings us to a specific trade proposal that's gaining traction, one that addresses that need for an athletic big man by targeting Onyeka Okongwu from the Atlanta Hawks. Here's what a potential deal could look like. Golden State Warriors receive. Onyeka Okongwu Atlanta Hawks receive. Moses Moody, Tracy Jackson-Davis, 2026 first-round pick for the Warriors. Okongwu is exactly the type of player they need. He's got tremendous athleticism for his size, can run the floor, finish lobs, and provides a dynamic presence around the rim that's different from a stretch five like Quentin Post. At 24, he's still got room to grow, but has already shown he can be an effective player, averaging 13.4 points and 8.9 rebounds on efficient shooting last season. While not a primary three-point threat, his value lies in his finishing, rebounding, and defensive activity. He could potentially step into a role similar to Kevin Looney's, perhaps even thriving coming off the bench, where his energy and athleticism could overwhelm opposing second units. It's a move that fits a potential strategic shift towards more size and athleticism, while bringing in a young player who fits a developmental timeline. Now, why would Atlanta make this trade? The Hawks are stuck in neutral. Despite having Trae Young, they haven't been able to break through. They need to add depth and potentially reshape their roster. This trade offers them valuable young assets and a future draft pick. Moses Moody could be a significant piece for Atlanta. He's shown flashes of being a solid two-way player for the Warriors, but hasn't consistently gotten the minutes. At 22, with a reasonable $11.5 million salary and 3 years left on his deal, he's a cost-controlled asset with real upside. He brings effort and hustle and can compete for minutes or even a starting spot. Tracy Jackson-Davis also fits Atlanta's potential timeline, especially if Clint Capella moves on. He's an athletic big man with upside, similar in profile to Okongwu, who could get significant minutes and develop alongside Trae Young. His numbers from limited minutes last season don't tell the full story of his potential. Adding a young center and a promising wing, plus a future first-round pick, gives the Hawks more flexibility and assets to continue their roster construction process. It's a move that benefits both teams by addressing needs and providing valuable assets. So, while we might have let go of the splashy, unrealistic dream of trading for Giannis Antetokounmpo, a more practical move like acquiring Onyeka Okongwu seems far more likely and addresses a real need for the Warriors. It's not the blockbuster that guarantees a title, but it's a sensible step that adds a valuable piece and provides flexibility for future moves, whether that's targeting wing depth like D'Anthony Melton or potentially creating cap space down the line if other players like Jonathan Kuminga are moved. It's about navigating the reality of the cap and roster construction to make the best possible moves within the available constraints. All right, Warriors fans and NBA enthusiasts, what's your take? Are you bummed about the Giannis news? Or do you think a move like the Okongwu trade is the right direction for the team? Let us know your thoughts and reactions in the comments section below. And hey, if you found this breakdown helpful and engaging, please smash that like button. Your likes and comments are huge for the channel and help us keep bringing you these in-depth reports. We'll be locked in on all the NBA offseason action right here.